It may look like just another cold day across the prairies, but what's unfolding right now is a powerful reminder that winter is not ready to loosen its grip just yet, especially across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and parts of Alberta, where a dynamic and somewhat unstable weather pattern is creating a mix of snow, wind, and sharp regional contrasts that are making conditions feel far more intense than the calendar might suggest. As we move deeper into late March, many expect signs of spring to dominate, but instead, the atmosphere is delivering a setup that feels much more like midwinter, particularly in the eastern prairies, where colder air remains firmly in place. Starting in Manitoba, the situation is particularly active and at times challenging. In and around Winnipeg, snow continues to fall, and more importantly, strong winds are lifting that snow off the ground, creating widespread blowing snow conditions. This is not just light drifting. In open areas, especially outside the city, visibility can drop quickly and unexpectedly, making travel difficult and at times hazardous. Temperatures hovering between -8 and -12 degrees Celsius may not seem extreme by prairie standards, but when combined with gusty winds, the wind chill bites harder, making it feel significantly colder. The real concern here is not just the cold itself, but how the wind interacts with freshly fallen and loose snow, reducing visibility on highways and rural roads where there are few natural barriers to slow the wind down. Moving west into Saskatchewan, the intensity eases slightly, but winter still holds its ground. The province is largely under cloudy skies, with light snow patches moving through different regions. While snowfall amounts are not particularly heavy, the persistent cloud cover and cold air mass keep temperatures around -10 degrees Celsius, maintaining that deep winter feel. The wind is still a factor here as well, though slightly less aggressive than in Manitoba, but enough to enhance the chill and create a raw, uncomfortable outdoor environment. What makes Saskatchewan's situation unique today is the subtle but important balance between calm and instability. On the surface, conditions may appear relatively quiet compared to Manitoba's blowing snow, but the atmosphere remains unsettled enough to allow for sudden changes, including brief snowbursts and shifting winds. As we continue further west into Alberta, the contrast becomes much more noticeable. Cities like Calgary and Edmonton are experiencing a milder air mass pushing in from the west, bringing temperatures that range anywhere from 5 to even 14 degrees Celsius in some areas. This is a significant difference compared to the colder conditions in Manitoba and Saskatchewan, and it highlights the classic prairie weather divide, where different air masses collide and compete for dominance. The skies in Alberta are a mix of clouds and sunshine, creating a more variable and somewhat deceptive weather pattern. At times, it may feel like spring is finally arriving, especially during sunnier breaks. But that sense of warmth can quickly fade as clouds move in or winds shift direction. Despite the milder temperatures in Alberta, the overall pattern remains unstable. This is not a settled spring-like system, but rather a transitional phase where warmer air is trying to push eastward, while colder air resists. This clash is what fuels the wind across the prairies, and today those winds are a major part of the story. Gusts reaching between 40 and 70 kilometers per hour are being reported across large portions of the region. And because of the flat, open landscape, there is very little to block or weaken these winds. This is why even moderate snowfall can turn into a much bigger issue, as the wind picks up loose snow and carries it across roads and fields, dramatically reducing visibility in a matter of seconds. The open geography of the prairies plays a crucial role in amplifying these conditions. Unlike more forested or mountainous regions, there are few natural obstacles to slow down the wind, allowing it to travel long distances with sustained alcoa. This is especially problematic in rural areas where highways stretch across open land, making them particularly vulnerable to blowing snow and sudden whiteout conditions. Drivers in these regions may encounter clear visibility one moment and near zero visibility the next, which is why travel advisories are often issued even when snowfall totals are relatively low. Another important aspect of today's weather across the prairies is the temperature gradient from east to west. Manitoba remains locked in colder air, Saskatchewan sits in a transitional zone, and Alberta experiences the leading edge of milder Pacific influence. This gradient not only creates differences in temperature, but also drives the wind. as air naturally moves from areas of higher pressure to lower pressure. The stronger the contrast, the stronger the wind. And that is exactly what we are seeing today. It's a classic prairie setup that meteorologists watch closely because it can evolve quickly and lead to rapidly changing conditions. Looking ahead, this pattern suggests that the prairies are still very much in a battle between winter and spring. While Alberta may continue to see milder periods, the persistence of colder air in Manitoba and parts of Saskatchewan indicates that winter is not finished yet. Any shift in wind direction could easily push colder air back westward, bringing temperatures down again and potentially reintroducing more widespread snowfall. This kind of back and forth is typical for late March, but it can be frustrating for those hoping for a steady transition into warmer weather. In the bigger picture, today's conditions highlight how complex and dynamic prairie weather can be during this time of year. It's not just about how much snow falls or how cold it gets, but how different elements like wind, temperature, and geography interact to create a much more impactful situation. Blowing snow in Manitoba, steady cold in Saskatchewan, and deceptive mildness in Alberta are all part of the same system, each telling a different part of the story. So while the calendar may say spring, the atmosphere across the prairies is telling a very different story today. It's a story of contrast, movement, and persistence, where winter refuses to fade quietly and continues to shape daily life across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta. And as long as these competing air masses remain in place, the region can expect more days like this, where conditions shift quickly, winds remain strong, and the line between winter and spring stays blurred.